Hey everybody, it's Old School Nerd. 2024 has been an amazing year for new music from bands that you love. Bands that we all love, they're putting out music this year. We're only into June. We're about to hit July. And we know that there's more albums coming in the coming months, July and going forward for the rest of the year. 2024 looks to be an incredible new music year. The creativity is there. Genres, what's a genre? It doesn't matter because people break out of all that stuff and just create something unique. And I get to sit down and chat with an artist. Now, I've done that before. You've seen me do many interviews with many artists that you all know and you all love and you appreciate the questions that we ask, and that's all great. But this one is a little different. You know that on my channel, we dedicate the weekends to up-and-coming artists, where we take Saturday and every YouTube reaction on a Saturday, and we do a live stream on Twitch. It features just up-and-coming artists. These are artists that have less than 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're independent, just trying to get their music out there to find an audience and just make their mark. And that's why it's there. And we always say when we see these up-and-coming bands, oh, they're going to be huge one day. Oh, how are they not signed? How are they? It happened. So there's a band from Australia called RELIQA. And we've done reactions to their music before when they were an up-and-coming artist. And they were so fresh and so creative and so unique. I thought, man, how are they not signed to some huge metal label and putting out giant albums globally? It happened. They're signed to Nuclear Blast Records. Their new full-length album is out. And I get a chance to talk with the lead singer, Monique, here. And I'm so excited for them. And this is one of those times where it actually really happens. Where a band that you hope breaks through and gets that opportunity, this actually happened. And they've earned it. And the new album is incredible. All the information about that album is in the description below. Please check it out. In the meantime, enjoy this conversation. Monique and I tried to get together a month ago when the album came out, and I was caught in a tornado. And she was like, it's okay. And then things crisscross, and we finally get to sit down and chat. I'm so honored to have a conversation with her. Everyone, this is RELIQA. Everybody, it's Old School Nerd, and it finally happened. Someone that I've wanted to talk to literally for weeks. This is our third try or second try? Is this the second try?
I think it's our second try.
I hope it's just two. If it's a third try,
don't worry. We'll call it two anyway.
She sings better than we do interviews, and I do reactions hopefully better than we do interviews, because this is Monique from the amazing band Reliqua. Did I say that correct?
Reliqa. Hard Q.
There is no U.
Yep. No U.
Ah, see, you've already learned something.
There you go.
Because I've been saying Reliqua this whole time. I've been dropping that U in there all day long.
You're not the only one. Don't worry.
So essentially, the rest of us would think of it like a K, like a hard K.
Yeah.
Reliqa.
Reliqa. Yeah.
We're not going to ponder the name much longer because the music is so amazing. Okay, now we talked before I pressed record, so you already know this.
Okay.
So the new album is amazing.
Thank you.
The new video is just, okay, all of the members of this band are fierce. They're so damn eclectic. Each one of them is a little power ball of creativity. They're your friends. They're your musical family, so you already know this. You have not checked out any music from RELIQA. I'm going to get it. You need to do so. And not because I said it, but because everyone's figuring it out real quick. You guys are like my Australian Bloodywood.
Oh, cool. That's a cool, that's very kind. I love Bloodywood. They're sick.
You guys are my Australian Ginger. You guys are my...
Another amazing band.
You guys are my Australian Malevolence. Oh. Those, yeah, right. We're hitting. Because, okay, there is nobody more unique than Bloodywood. There is nobody more unique than Ginger. And there's hella nobody more unique than those boys from Sheffield, UK, Malevolence. So let's
Yeah.
introduce you a version that breaks. We just talked about this. How can we break rules if there are none? Relica. Look, I'm even saying it right now. I'm so proud of myself. So,
Good on you.
can you? I'm going to talk about a few things, but I want you to first start off this album. Would you consider it a global debut? Because you guys have been making music a long time, but would you say that this album would be kind of your debut on the global stage? And how did it come about? Because
Yeah, I honestly think that's a very fair thing to say. Like, I think that this being our global debut makes a lot of sense. Like, we have had a global fan base for, maybe 2 to 3 years now. With our previous EP, I Don't Know What I Am, that's still sort of, like we'd sown the seed on the global scale, and we did have some like a light bit of global attention, as it does happen quite naturally. Other people start hearing the word all around the world. But having released this album with Nuclear Blast, it opened up that door immensely. And yeah, I think that it's very safe to say that this is our global debut. Especially just being a debut full-length LP, that tends to be the debut for a lot of bands, regardless of how many EPs they've released earlier. We were sowing the seeds, we were laying the groundwork in our earlier music, but I think that this album is day one in a lot of ways. I think you're absolutely right in saying that. And sorry, go on.
no, this is your interview. I'm not going to cut you off. Please continue.
Oh no, I was just going to answer your question about how it came about. Like, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So, like, during our last campaign, which was a record called I Don't Know What I Am, we actually were approached by the A&R reps of Nuclear Blast, who we now are signed to, which is amazing. And they really enjoyed that record, and they wanted to see us make a full length. So it was kind of, we already knew that the next thing we would do would be a full length album, but we were sort of it was supported a lot more once we did have that label backing for us. So I think it came about very naturally. We have a producer that we love so much and that we've worked with for a couple of releases now. His name is Chris Blancato, from here in Sydney. And we collaborated with him quite heavily on this record. We definitely experimented a lot with our songwriting on this record, and I think naturally one thing led to another, and now we're here and we've got it out, and it's very exciting.
Okay. This isn't one of those interviews where I didn't know anything about the band until they were on a label where it was time to do the interviews with all the different reaction channels. I knew who you guys were because you wanted to know, how did I know about you guys? Because I knew about you before this album, before Nuclear Blast. And there's a reason. I have a slight Australia fetish.
Okay.
In the best way. Do you see these little plushies behind my head right here? Just above my head. See
Very
them?
vaguely, yeah.
Okay. That is Evandra, Forgeling, and Fall Cosplay from Deerstalker Pictures. They do D&D comedy. Deerstalker Pictures is from Australia.
Okay.
So they do YouTube videos that are all nerd D&D stuff. Well, that's where I first got into it. And then I started checking out bands like Headwreck, bands like Primrose Path out in Perth, bands like Lankenthrope. The stalwarts of there's something unique about Australia that once you get into Australian music, it's written different, it's thought of different. They don't have to worry about, okay, how do we compare to other bands like us? Well, it's Australia. There are no other bands like you. Do what you want. Incorporate the creativity of this amazing continent, country, vast cultural, just so many different cultures, and it works. And I think one of the things that caught me was a song from your past 4 years ago, and the song is called Mr. Magic. Yeah. And the way it happened was 3 years ago, I started this YouTube thing, and I did like everybody else did. I reacted to every big band. Sabaton, Nightwish. Those are just the ones that you share a label with now, by the way. And
Oh yeah, I
so,
know.
yeah, right. So all the big bands that everybody does. And
Yes.
as the channel grew and my community grew, there were people around the world that said, hey, we know you love this band, and this band. Have you ever heard of Reliqa? They didn't say that, but now we know how to say it. And and so what we started is, now that my channel's got to a certain size, I remember what it was like to be in a band when I was in college. I remember what it was like to be that band that's like, we have a voice, we have a sound, we have a message, if only we could find a way to get it out. So we started something on Saturdays. Every weekend, it's Up and Coming Saturday. And the way it works is you have to be an independent band just trying to get your music out. And because YouTube is global, that's where Primrose Path, Headwreck, Reliqa, when you were still an up-and-coming band, unsigned independent, there was a certain person named Teresk, that's his handle on Twitch. He's from Australia, and he was like, I have to share with you this band. You're going to love this video. And I clicked play, and there you were a few years ago, and you were walking between two tree lines in a field. Now, I want everyone, if you've never seen this video, it's not part of the new album, but it's worth checking out because even as an independent, up-and-coming band, there were no compromises in this video. How long did it take you to shoot that damn thing? Because one continuous shot the whole time, and you guys had to run around the camera to avoid being seen, but yet keep changing the position. I don't know, to this day, I don't know where you were hiding the drum set and how you got it there that way, but they're walking between two tree lines in a fire break with power lines over them, and it's a continuous shot like a J.J. Abrams movie, and you guys get the whole band in so many different ways, and I thought, this band is creating, number one, the song is amazing. So I could see why Nuclear Blast is like, who are they and what else can they do? And then we find out, because the new album, when I saw, I know that band. And then when I clicked and I saw your face and I saw the amazing musical family you have, and they're such uncompromising visual spaces and how they present themselves. It's like you and 4 Freddie Mercurys. It's so amazing. You guys are so damn awesome. The way you guys just present yourselves, and it's so fresh and it's so lively. Now that I've spilled the beans on how much fanboying I was before I knew I was going to be able to interview you, tell me about this video, because you've got some Vicky Sarakis anger up in people's faces kind of vibe to it. Was that something you enjoyed doing? Because iterations before seemed very passive.
Do you mean like Mr. Magic?
Well, in Mr. Magic, it was kind of like you were in a dress and you were just kind of walking through. It was very flowy. But in the new video where I'm kind of afraid, I see. Where it's there's a bit of, not confidence, but there is an uncompromising force that you're projecting. I know your vocals are melodic and beautiful.
Thanks.
You showed a little of that, but the bombastic force upon which, I mean, come on. In the video, when you snap your fingers and they go into the transition.
Okay, so it's Dying Light, right?
Yeah, Dying Light. Okay.
Gotcha.
The video.
We've released a couple of music videos in the last couple of months, so I just wanted to make sure I was getting the right
Dying
one.
Light. Okay.
Yeah, brilliant. So, obviously we've definitely come a long way since, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Mr. Magic. That was a lot of people's debut into seeing Reliqa. For how we were talking about how this album is our global debut. Like, yes, it is in one way, but Mr. Magic has also caught a lot of attention back when we released it as well, which was fantastic. But yeah, no, we've taken a lot of steps up with these latest music videos. We worked with a producer. His name's Colin Jeffs. He's incredible, and also a stylist. Her name's Bridget Parker. She helped us, when it comes to the aesthetics of how we're presenting and, that sort of sass and the vibe. She really nailed that, which is fantastic. And I think that it's a very important thing to presenting yourself in a striking visual way, because a lot of people, especially in the metal space, they sort of discount the power that fashion has in, you know, getting someone on board with your music and getting, so building an image, building a brand, and building like sort of a feeling around you. And yeah, so we worked really hard on that, and I think it's paid off really well. But yeah, just with this album has come a lot more confidence and just a lot more certainty. And of course that like the label backing helps with that. It's very reassuring, and it shows that we're on the right path. But also just the fan base that we've been building, it's a mutual level of growth, and a mutual level of confidence building, because the more that people love it and the more that people get on board and get excited, the more we are feeling like we can start pushing boundaries a bit more, and we can you know, we can be a bit sassy and sexy in a music video and stuff, and people can vibe with it. So yeah, we took a lot of risks, but I think that they paid off quite well, which is really cool.
I think the reason why I was referring to Dying Light, it was because for Dying Light, instead of it showing yourselves as a metal band, it shows you as artists. Just raw, really? This is us, look. And it was all about the attitude. It was all about the swagger. And I thought, man, that's my favorite part of it. That really exemplified to me Australian creativity. Like, just when you think you have it figured out, you really don't. Yeah. You really, really don't. Killstar caught a lot of people musically, their attention. And everyone was like, whoa, this is severely layered. Who is this band? Where did they come from? And some of us knew. But that was, to me, well, yeah, I did. But even at the time when Killstar came out and my community shared it with me, and I did the first reaction as a Nuclear Blast artist, was Killstar. And I was like, wow, the stuff that I knew of you before impressed me as an up-and-coming band. Killstar was so damn polished, but with the creativity that y'all have. And again, I think it's part of it is y'all realized you had the backing, the support, and like you said, you had a producer that you just absolutely love, that gets your voice, gets your vision, and says, now that I have your vision, let's take your vision and make it way bigger than you ever thought it could be. And you're like, and we're watching Killstar going, musically, they're up there with every band that everybody loves. You know, whether you're talking about a Solosis, which, come on, when you're talking about a band like Solosis, or you're talking about a band like Gojira, some of the stalwarts that just create things that like people want to know, how the hell did they do that? When y'all are doing that, and I'm like, everyone's reacting to Killstar. I have other reactors go, did you see Killstar years too? I was like, yeah, but have you ever seen the other stuff? This band is not just a musical force like other bands. There is something tangibly, uniquely creative about them. You guys walk out with Dying Light and are like, see, it was that. It's them. Yes, it's the music, but I think you guys have something that, because of your unique style and your unique vision and the way you project yourselves, I believe live, even though your videos are amazing, I guarantee you, because you're in Australia, I haven't had the opportunity yet, and you're already on my bucket list now.
Oh, yay.
Because I want to see where the music of Killstar meets the performance, attitude, creativity, and just energy, vision of Dying Light. And it's all the same people. How do you, when you approach live performances, because you know now that this album is out and you're getting more traction on some of these videos and reaction and pull, where people are like, where can we see them? And then they look it up and they're like, crap, Australia. It's like, it's okay. There are ways that this can happen. How do y'all approach live performances? Because we haven't seen a live performance from you yet, but what is that like for you guys?
Oh, I mean, such a great question. We actually, this is great timing, because we actually just finished our Secrets of the Future album tour around Australia.
Okay.
So we've got a good bunch of experience now to know how these songs translate live. And yeah, it's been really, really electric, honestly. Honestly, it's about like, because yeah, these songs are quite dynamic and they're all quite different from each other. So curating a set list has to be quite strategic in, okay, like they're going to have this much energy here, so we've got to pack all the punch here, then we've got to simmer it out and do some of the softer songs later on. Like I think the best part about having all these different sounds in our music is that we can curate the ebb and flow of our live performance. Like, for example, there are a couple songs on the album that are a bit more poppy, a bit softer, you know, a little bit more rock inclined, and they sort of simmer out a little bit. So if we put those in the 2/3 of the way mark of our set, you know what I mean? Sort of give people a little bit of a breather, then it means that when we come back in the third act and we hit with Terminal,
Yeah.
then like people are gonna go off because they're like, they've had that rest and now they get to come back and like experience. And we've been closing with Mr. Magic, just so you know, like, because you've been loving Mr. Magic.
Come on, but that's a personal one. See, that's my favorite one. That's something that okay, so let's say and I'm not trying to book your show, but let's say you start off with Killstar. Why? It's freaking Killstar. Like, everyone knows it. It pops off right off the bat.
It did. We played song 2 was Killstar was our song 2. It was really cool. We opened with Cave, which is track 2 on the album. So we started kind of dark and moody, and we gathered people in and everything. All these shows were sold out too, which was incredible. So the rooms were already packed. Oh my God, it absolutely went off. But yeah, so we started with Cave. We got people a little curious, interested, you know, couple of like heavy passages in there. And then we'd say our quick hello, the lights would go down, and then you'd hear that opening synth of Killstar. Oh,
yeah, and then everyone just went, oh. Well, that's also you play Cave, set up your wall of death, kick in Killstar with that, and then you're like, okay, ooh, we're doing okay. Guys, Wall of Death 2, Killstar. OldSkuleNerd told me about it. It's gonna be great. So, and then Killstar
was seriously one of my favorite songs every night. It just like, people really they've had the right amount of time with the album that it's still fresh, but they know all the words and they like screaming it, and I just so amazing and so reassuring and like validating to see these people really enjoy it in a live space as well. And it's a very difficult song to play too, so it actually helps to have that audience engagement, because, you know, when I've been, you know, rapping for like 8 bars and I need a breath, I'll just pull the mic out and then they can sing the rest, and it's so good.
There's a reason why Freddie Mercury is the greatest of all time, because he knew when to yodel and let the crowd yodel with him. So I'm so excited for a band that I remember just a few years ago were way too talented to be unknown. Now getting that chance, and you guys are grabbing it with both hands. It's a unique time because you are making huge waves right now across the genres, but of course across oceans. It is a little late to get into the next segments of the festival season, things like that. But you are now luckily in one of, I guess, the top 3 metal labels that coordinate, where you can take a band like a Sabaton or a band like Malevolence. They go to Australia, and it's really easy to then you're segueing to audiences, a local audience that's always going to cheer for the home band. And then you're seeing people that are like, wait a minute, that band's from here? Oh, and then next thing you know, it's translating. And then next thing you know, you guys get the invite. You guys can come and do some stuff in Europe. And there's so many amazing roster spots in Nuclear Blast, and they're such a great family that if you guys get the opportunity to come to Europe, either in a supporting role or in a collaboration role where it's like multiple bands together, you're instantly going to find fans, because your music is something that is just as powerful, impactful, but it's unique.
Thank you.
You can find metalcore bands similar to you can find a deathcore band by throwing a rock in Finland and hitting 5. We know that. That's the joke. But metalcore is exploding in Germany. Hardcore still alive in the UK. You've got all kinds of experimental stuff. I think metal music in Europe is really going through this renaissance. And I think it's really awesome that with all those amazing layers in there, so many amazing bands, then you realize when you look at Australia and go, well, wait a minute. They're having an explosion too, but they are unique. So now we have to look at them. And I think it's a great time for that. And I think you guys are poised for that. And most importantly, y'all are ready for that.
I
really think
that. Yeah, we've definitely made some fantastic connections overseas, and we're poised now. Where it's a matter of when, not if, which is fantastic. You know, that's more than we could have ever dreamed of. And you know, we still have that same passion, that same high school giddiness about this music, because the four of us, we all went to high school together. And when I say high school, I mean like middle school for you in the States, because high school for us starts at age 12 and goes till age 18. So we were really young when we started this. Not that we started it in a very serious manner, but you know, it started nonetheless. We became friends and then started actually doing this thing once we graduated. But we still have that same giddiness about getting overseas and doing those like global tours. And now looking back, it's just become more of a reality, which is fantastic. So yeah, Nuclear Blast has opened up so many doors for us to get over to Europe. I imagine that it will be Europe first and then the States. That tends to just be the most accessible, not only for our music genre, but also just in terms of logistics.
Yeah, I was going to say logistically, you have to master Europe first, because similar to the best way I can describe it is, can you imagine trying to tour in Australia, realizing that pretty much the entire middle of the country, it takes at least 3 days to drive across it if you don't fly?
Yeah, well aware.
Okay, so you know that the US is the same way. If you go to Europe and you'll have 8 stops in Germany, each stop is an hour and a half away from the next. Yes. Logistically, it's not hard to do that. Plus, you have so much home. Nuclear Blast is such a stalwart, just lineup and core fan base and network of venues there. It's easy to do it. In the US, think of it like, you know, having to play a show in Brisbane and then one in Melbourne. That you can't drive that. The US,
I'm glad that you understand that.
The US is the same way. I've had bands come from Europe and they're so excited. I'm like, great. And they're messaging me like, Old School Nerd, we're going to go here and here and here and here. And I'm like, no, you're not. Because all that stuff is days away from each other. And they don't realize it till they get here. And they're like, oh, God. And I was like, yeah, just Texas itself is the size of France and Germany. Good luck. Yeah. It's so, as an Australian, when you say, and where are you guys located officially?
We're located in Sydney.
Okay, so you're in Sydney. So you're mid-East Coast. You've got cities below you, cities beneath you. But what if somebody goes, well, yeah, we got a show in Perth. Okay, you might as well have just said the other side of the planet. Because, and people don't get that. It is a completely different world.
We actually do have a show in Perth next weekend. We're starting a tour with the band Dayseeker. Do you know Dayseeker?
Of course I do. They're amazing, and you should start driving now.
Look, we know our home country like the back of our hand now. We're very thankful, and you can't drive that.
No.
Yeah, we'll be flying straight away. But yeah, no, it's going to be a really exciting tour. We're flying from Sydney to Perth, then straight from Perth to Adelaide, Adelaide to Brisbane, Brisbane to Sydney, Sydney to Melbourne. It's 5 shows in 7 days. It's going to be fantastic. It's all sold out too. So
Dayseeker is so hard, and they're the sweetest people, but they're so hard. They're so hard. They're so loud and hard, and it's like, all right, but I think it's going to match. It's going to be a great dynamic. So is there anything that we can look forward to? We've already had, how many? 3 videos out on this LP so far. What else is coming? Is there anything else? Or should we just revel in this, get the album, and just enjoy?
honestly, like when it comes to the main album package, it's all out now.
Good.
Like it's all like no like major surprises. Of course, we do have fun things coming up that we can't really
No.
discuss, but in terms of the Secrets of the Future is out. There's
Yep.
vinyl, there's CDs, there's music videos. All of that is ready for you to explore.
I'm just waiting for mine because it's gonna go right there. But it's just it has to come
beautiful.
in. It just has to come in.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, we've seen them and they look absolutely gorgeous. We actually just got a package from Nuclear Blast straight on our doorstep yesterday. So we've got the silver vinyl with us now, and yeah, it's been beautiful. It's been such an amazing experience on this recent album tour, being able to sign some vinyl and actually see things in person for the first time.
We have merch. You can buy it. Look. It's just when you get to do that, it's kind of nice, you know?
It is very nice. Yeah. So honestly, yeah, like it was an absolute marathon to get where we are. And yeah, it's been it's been almost exactly a month. It's been just under a month of Secrets of the Future, and already the album has taken us further than, we could have even hoped for. And it's only going to get bigger from here. So like we have a lot of work cut out for us, but it's all very exciting stuff.
If you can play 80% as good as your album, you're in. Because your album's that good. The thing about it is you and I were supposed to talk when the album came out. I think it was like the week before. And then I got sick. Something happened with the connection. You had a connection.
You had a tornado or something, didn't you?
Yes. We had a tornado here, lost power, lost everything for 2 days.
Yeah.
We had your contact spoke to my contact and they're like, no, it's okay. Seriously.
Of course it's okay. Yeah.
Nobody understands natural disasters as good as the Australians. You're good. And then afterwards, I went on my honeymoon and I was like, and then I said, look, seriously, when I get back, and they're like, no, Relica's waiting. Okay, the promise. I know because I've been begging for this more than I've begged for other things, because here's the thing, and this is the last thing I want to tell you before I allow you to tell all of the amazing Relica fans that have just realized how amazing this is. I am so sorry that your band will no longer be featured on my up and coming stream.
Oh,
but I am so pumped that you are no longer qualified because you're too big to be on my damn up and coming stream. And you know what? All of you earned that.
It was an honor to be there while we were there. Thank you so much.
Y'all were what you got. I really, you know what? I'm going to send you the link to my reaction of Mr. Magic when I saw you guys the first time. And I'm like, this band needs to be blah, 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 blah. By the way, as I was saying those words, you turkeys were recording the album that we're talking about today. And when I say to everyone, please send me the bands that you find out about that are local bands, that are regional, that you want to share with the world, because you never know who the next Ginger is going to be. Who's going to be the next Bloodywood? Who's going to be the next Malevolence? Who's going to be the next Relica? Because this isn't one of those things where a band comes out of nowhere and they just make really cool music and everybody's like, oh, cool, let's check them out. If somebody takes the time, and I challenge all of you to love this album, please do. It's an amazing album. But dig deeper into the artists, because there's an amazing story behind the scenes. And this is one of those bands that did the work, put in the time, and they've earned this. So I'm so proud of y'all. I know we've never spoken before, but I've been a fan of y'all's since the first time I saw you step out of a tree line. And everyone, I'm going to turn this last few minutes over to you. Please share whatever you want to say to everyone who's seen your music, supported you from the get-go, and anybody else that sees this for the first time. The stage is yours.
Look, honestly, this has just been so sweet. Like, especially what you just said then about the up-and-coming playlist, and now we no longer qualify for that playlist. That seriously is such an amazing, tangible example of how, we've been working so hard and like how it's actually paying off, which is fantastic. Yeah, honestly, take take risks in your music, whether you're making music or listening to music. Don't be afraid to take risks, because that's something that we do. And that's something that clearly I'm very thankful to say has paid off. Because we love a whole bunch of diverse music in terms of our own music tastes, and being able to pour that into metalcore, which, you know, it does have its cookie cutter moments. Metalcore is a genre that does have its like formulas and stuff like that. So it naturally has a fantastic sort of, it's a great like little groundwork to be broken as well. Like the metalcore genre can be broken and molded and changed and made progressive. And I guess any musicians out there who are thinking of changing the mold, don't be afraid to do that. There are so many bands before us who have done it, and they will not be the last ones to do it either. So no, thank you so much for taking this time, you know, to check out Secrets of the Future. It's an album that means so much to me, and it's, I think, it already has changed our lives, and I think that the next one, you know, is going to be even bigger and better. And it's just yeah, the reason that we are graduating out of that up and coming playlist is all thanks to you. So thanks.
And it's all due to the hard work. Okay, everybody, this is Monique. She is the lead singer, scariest woman in the band, but not the sexiest bass player. It has been said that the bass player of your band is possibly in the top 5 sexiest bass players in the world. I don't know.
Look,
don't stroke the ego. Don't stroke the ego, but he's earned it, because I'm like,
I just want to tell him.
Oh,
he's actually one. You wouldn't know, but he's actually like definitely not an egotistical guy, despite what his fashion sense says. He's a very down-to-earth guy.
The crazier, the more dark, the more angry, the more evil the music appears, the sweeter, the most gentle, the most loving the people are. The only band
that's been my experience too.
The only band that is not that is Electric Callboy, because they are as nice as their videos are. Again, so but that's an example of, okay, metal, is there a genre? No, because that's not a genre. That's just, you know, what is Bloodywood? That's not a genre. What is Reliqa? That is not a genre. It's not. Yeah. You guys, when you say the word metalcore, I was like, there's core there, because there is a center core that you balance from. But who you are is as unique as your voice is, as unique as your image and what you guys portray visually. But it's also a fingerprint. It's as unique musically as well. There are things that we love about your music that remind us of other bands we love. When you were in Dying Light, and the attitude and the bars you were spitting and that aggressiveness you were showing remind us of Vicky Sarakas with Sixth Sense, and the way she loves to just in your face and this is just who I am and suck it if you don't like it. That's what I love about what you guys are doing. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy some lunch. I'm gonna go eat dinner, because that's how we roll when we're, you know, when we're 14 hours different, but we make it work. Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank you.
The amazing Monique from the incredible band Reliqa, that I learned how to say in the last 25 minutes. And with that, we'll see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right over there. A big thank you to all my Patreons out there for everything you do. And if you want more content like this, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.